Morning news. By 7 a.m., it was everywhere. Fatal shooting near Berry Farms overnight. Targeted, no suspects, no motive released. Taz muted the TV. Red shook his head. DC wild as shit. Kev didn't say anything. His phone still open. Berry Farms. Pooh didn't answer his calls. Detective Harris. Harris got the call from DC Metro Police. Looks like your pattern. Same caliber, same surgical placement. Harris closed his eyes for a second. He's expanding, he muttered. Crossing city lines made it federal fast. He requested traffic cam footage near the bridge, and one camera caught it. A car entering D.C. around 1:32 a.m. Registered to Pooh's aunt. Again, this wasn't a coincidence anymore. Later that night, the three of them sat in silence. Taz finally spoke. You think he is moving funny? Red shrugged too quickly. Pooh too solid. Kev's jaw tightened. But he lied. They both looked at him. He said he was home. Silence, because once doubt enters, it doesn't leave quietly. Pooh, alone in his thoughts. Pooh sat in a dark room. Cash on the table. New burner phone. A text came in. Good work, more coming. He stared at it, then at a picture of Cav's little brother saved in his gallery. I finished it, he whispered, but it didn't feel finished. It felt bigger and colder, because now he wasn't avenging. He was hired, and every job made it harder to ever walk back toward light. The gym at Cecil Kirk Recreation Center smelled like rubber and sweat. Kev had been there 7 days straight. Morning lifts, midday shooting, night runs, trying to outrun grief, trying to outrun something else he couldn't name. Pooh walked in halfway through drills, hands in pockets, face blank. Kev stopped shooting. The ball rolled away. You were in D.C. Not a question. Pooh didn't answer right away. The game was crazy, Pooh said calmly. You went off. Berry Farms, Kev said. Silence. Pooh's jaw tightened just slightly. You got eyes on me now, he asked. You lied. I move around. That's not what I asked. The gym suddenly felt too small. Pooh stepped closer. You think I'm doing something stupid. Kev's voice dropped. I think you're doing something that's gonna follow all of us. Pooh laughed once with no humor. Everything follows us. That's how this city works. You don't gotta carry it like that, Kev said quietly. Pooh's expression changed. You think I wanted to, he snapped. You think I ain't hear your brother gasping. That landed. Heavy. Kev swallowed hard. I didn't ask you to. I didn't need you to. They stood inches apart now. Two different kinds of grief. Kev fighting to leave. You're going to Morgan, Pooh asked. I'm making sure you get there. That's not protection, Kev replied. Yeah, okay. That's a cage. Outside unmarked cars. Detective Harris had been patient, but DC changed everything. Crossing state lines meant the task force. Warrants got easier. Phones got tapped. Tonight was the move. Unmarked Crown Vics rolled slowly past the rec center. Two plainclothes officers stepped out. Harris adjusted his jacket. Let's bring him in. Taz and Reg walked in mid-argument. What's going on? Reg asked. Pooh stepped back from Cav. Nothing resolved. Everything raw. Then the gym doors burst open. Baltimore PD. The echo bounced off the rafters. Kids froze, looking puzzled. The ball stopped mid-dribble. Harris locked eyes with Pooh immediately. Pooh Carter, he said calmly. We need to talk. Pooh didn't run. Didn't reach. Just looked at Cav once. Quick. Almost apologetic. What's this about? Taz asked. Harris didn't look away from Pooh. DC homicide and 5 others. The room shifted. Reg whispered, what? Kev felt the blood drain from his face. Pooh stayed steady with a smirk on his face. You got proof, he asked. Enough for cuffs. An officer stepped forward. Metal clicked. That sound was louder than any buzzer. Kev stepped forward instinctively. He ain't doing nothing. Harris finally looked at him. You sure about that? The question wasn't aggressive, because Harris had seen this before. Talent, scholarships, and unfortunately the streets. Friends who think loyalty beats evidence. Pooh didn't resist as they cuffed him. Just said one thing quietly to Kev. Stay locked in, it's your time. Then he was led out. Flashes from outside cameras lit up the windows. Somebody had tipped the media. By morning, it would be everywhere. Morgan State commits. A close friend was arrested in a multi-city homicide investigation. The news cycle didn't slow down. Multi-city homicide suspect tied to Baltimore. Pooh's face blurred on TV. But everyone knew. Morgan State hasn't called yet. That silence was worse than a rejection. Taz kept saying, let the lawyers work. Reg kept saying, he ain't confessing. Kev wasn't saying anything. He was scrolling. Back to the DM. At Lanny the Real. The girl from D.C., Berry Farms. She said she saw Pooh. That message could either save him or bury him. Instagram search. Her profile was public, now private. DC native, Howard University student. Pictures at the Beltway Classic. Selfie with Kev after the game. He stared at that word. "We need to talk." His chest tightened. She replied 10 minutes later. "About your friend." His fingers paused. "Yeah. 3 dots. I don't want no drama." He called her. She declined. Text came back. "Not on this phone." DC late afternoon. Kev knew something was wrong before he even parked. Same coffee shop, same corner, but this time, 2 men in blue hoodies standing outside. Not talking, not on their phones. Just waiting. The girl stood near the entrance in a gray hoodie. Hands in pockets, scanning area. Not relaxed. Kev didn't pull in. He kept driving slow. Circled the block once. Then again. On the second pass, one of the blue hoodies looked directly at his car. Didn't wave, didn't flinch. Just stared too long. That was enough. Kev's pulse jumped. The cross was set. He didn't know if it was detectives, or street, or both, but nobody brings backup to just talk. Inside the car, his phone buzzed. At Lanny the Real. "Where you at?" Buzz again. "You coming?" He didn't respond. Another buzz. "Taz, bro, where you at?" He pulled onto the highway back toward Baltimore. Hands tight on the wheel, breathing shallow. Another message from her. "It's not like that." He laughed under his breath. "It's always like that." They see. Coffee shop in DC Uptown. The girl stood outside watching cars pass. Her phone is still in her hand. One of the blue hoodies leaned close. "Young and spooked," the man muttered. "Maybe he didn't do it," she said quietly. The other hoodie scoffed. "Or maybe he is a smart nigger." Across the street, an unmarked vehicle sat idle. Engine running, windows tinted, Detective Harris inside. Watching the whole thing. He didn't need Kev to walk in. He just needed to see if he would. And he didn't. That told Harris something. Kev pulled into the city just as streetlights flickered on. Phone buzzed again. "The girl, you think I set you up." He didn't respond. Then, "You are deeper than you know." That one stayed on his screen longer than the rest. Meanwhile, in the holding cell, Pooh sat alone. No phone, no noise, no timeline. A guard mentioned something in passing. "Your boy was down in DC today." Pooh's head lifted slowly. "Which one?" The guard shrugged. "Tall one, MVP." Pooh leaned back against the wall and closed his eyes. Because now Kev was just trying to protect him. He was in the field, and the field doesn't forgive mistakes.